everybody, Camelia here, welcome back to a new video. Today I have for you 3 garments from the latest Knipmode magazine, December 2023. I made a bodysuit, a top and a pair of linen pants. So with each of them I have a few things that I wanted to share with you. It was really fun actually because I had new things to try. Well, not for all of them, but for the pants and for the bodysuit. There are some new things or things that I've done long time ago for the last time. So it was there were really 3 fun projects. So I made. I'm going to come back to the. So I made the bodysuit from the Knipmode from December. So that will be this one here. So the bodysuit, the variation from the bodysuit, and that will be, or a bodystocking, that will be this top here, which is actually using as a base the bodystocking one. As you can see here, they have another variation on the same pattern. And I also made this pair of pants using linen viscose from Minerva, and actually all these 3 are using the same pants pieces, only for this one here with the pleat in the front, which is actually used for the jumpsuit, they are adding a pleat in the front. But I'm going to talk about that a little bit later when I'm going to show you the pants. First of all, I'm going to show you the bodysuit because I have it on, and I want to show you also the lower part. I have some pictures here including it with the pants, but I want to show you also the lower part. I have a pair of stockings underneath, and then I'll have to change because I really want to show you the inside of the sleeve. So the bodysuit, which is this one, I'm going to come a little bit closer. I think it's my first time making a bodysuit. Yes, it is. Definitely one in a jersey like this, completely. And I must say that it's a really fun garment actually, because when you wear when I wear it with a skirt, or as you see in the pictures with the pants, you have actually a very flat area going on here. Like if I had a top, I'll have to, and I want to wear it into the pants or the skirt. Of course, you always see some fabric here bunching underneath. But with the bodysuit, it's actually really cool because you cannot see anything because everything is really tight inside. So talking about, I think my biggest concern with the bodysuit was actually choosing the right size. And of course, I have this also when I'm making a dress or a top or whatever, but in a bodysuit I think it's even more important to choose the right size, and especially in length, and that's actually the most important change that I need to make in Knipmode patterns, because they are drafting for 1m72, I'm only 169, and I always need to think about where those 3 centimeters difference are reading on my body. And most of the time is on the upper area and not so much on the lower part. But in a bodysuit, because everything is connected, of course I had to think about a little bit in advance. And the best way to do that is, of course, to measure stuff. And I made for Lisa a lot of, for my daughter I made a lot of bathing suits, which is basically the same stuff, only of course there are clothes between the legs and stuff like that. But on the jelly patterns, that's what I used for Lisa, her bathing suits always. An important measurement is the torso measurement. And I'm just going to put my skirt. I do have other clothes underneath. So to measure that, as you can see here, this is the complete bodysuit. I think it has a really nice cut also here on the back. But to measure, to be sure that I'm going to fit, I think and I'm not fitting this all the way. I remember I used 2, I think. You need to measure your torso length. And with this measurement, and I had another tape measure that I just connected, you know, to be sure that I get the right one. So just over the shoulder, not really tight. And with this measurement I measured the pattern pieces, and with that in mind I decided on my size. As usual, I used the size, I used the size, let's see, what is the sizing on this one? I don't want to give you Bodysuit 3A. For this one I used the size M, if I'm not mistaken. I used the size M, but for the armhole part I did use, yes, I used the size M, but for this part here I used, you know, I draw the size S, because I know that here it's always happening that I need to take a little bit away. And let me see, and for the rest is a size M. Also because I was thinking, you know, I'm going to use a viscose jersey which is really stretchy, and you know, that's also of course helping with the fit a little bit. My biggest concern was of course that I'm not going to get a lot of fabric here hanging, and it actually turned out really pretty well. I did have, I made like a test garment for the bodice part without the sleeves, and I think if I was to make this one again in a cotton jersey, I'll use exactly the same pattern. Only if I was to make this one again in a fabric like this, I think I could take away maybe from here, from the bottom part, you know, to make like a wedge all the way around, or the front and the back, and take like, it's a little bit lesser than, or maybe 1 centimeter. This is really very stretchy, but if I was to make this in a cotton jersey, I think I will have to keep the pattern as it is, because a cotton jersey, it has a little bit lesser vertical stretch. So that was my first consideration for the size, was to measure my torso, and then to measure the pattern piece. You can see here, for example, this is the front, so just measure from the shoulder all the way here, and here I had to keep in mind that they have a little bit of extra added for the closure. In the Knipmode that they used for closure, they use snaps, you know, those, I suppose they were those lingerie snaps, the plastic really small ones, but I had none in my stash, so I just used an old hook and eye from a bra that I had in my stash. I used that to put it on the crotch closure. So that was the size consideration. They have also on the color, and I want to talk about this before I put it off. As you can see here, the color is pretty generous. Actually, it's really high. You can see that it's from here all the way here. So if you make this in a soft fabric, of course, this works really nicely in a soft fabric, but I think if I was to make this in a cotton jersey, let's say, probably I'll just make a smaller, the half of it, let's say, because this is a lot, but it's really working in this soft jersey. But if I was to make it in a fabric that is not as drapey, I probably bring it a little bit, you know, the half of it. I'm going to put my alarm off. I'm not going to cut this. For the color, they have actually some interesting pieces, and they, of course, there is everything in the instructions. I don't really get it why they do this. It's a little bit of extra work that I don't really read it in the color. So I think just make it a tubular one and put it on with the seam in the back. It will work also as well. So this is actually, so this is getting double, and let's see, so you can see it's pretty high, and this is the back, and they do use a 4-piece and the back one, so that you get the side seams, you get them really here at the shoulder and not on the back, so the back is pretty nice and clean, and also the front here. The back has a center back seam. Of course, it's impossible to see here. It has a center back seam, and I think it's a seam that you really need to keep if you intend to make this. You can see it here. This is the back. It's really nicely shaped here, the center back. I did do my sway back adjustment, taking I think maybe almost 1.5 centimeters away at the length here. Let's see. And for the rest, as you can see here, I have some extra lines because they use the back of this body stocking. They use it also to make the other top. So that one is getting cut exactly here, the hips, and you'll see it in the pictures later. It's just a little bit too short actually. So this was the body part. For the sleeve, and I'm going to change in a minute because I really want to show you the inside of the sleeve. This is the sleeve. This is the sleeve. It has here, I forgot to add a mark, somewhere between here and let's see here. You need to stitch a piece of clear elastic to get these gathers here. As you can see, I'm going to put my sleeve down. Here is a piece of clear elastic, and here is happening something. As you can see, it's very puffy, and you have a bunch of gathers here at the top of the sleeve, and you can, I think it would have worked also very nicely without the extra padding which you see on the inside, but of course the effect will be much different than this. Something only to, so here inside the sleeve cap there is a ruffle. I will show it to you in a minute, to keep all these gathers a little bit up and fluffy like this. As I said, I made a toile for this body stocking bodysuit, but I did not toile the sleeves in advance. So from what I saw in my test garment, I was like, this is going to fit. I was feeling that the shoulder point, it was on my shoulder point here, the shoulder of the garment. So I was completely happy with it. But when I added the sleeves and I put it on, I realized that actually, because there is so much going on here on the sleeves, although I do have a clear elastic in my shoulder seam, all this what is happening here really needs to sit on the shoulder. So although my seam, I'm going to put it a little bit, although my seam was on the shoulder point, because all this volume here, actually this works best, and this is my opinion of course, this works best if the shoulder seam is brought a little bit in, so that whole gathers volume here that is sitting a little bit on the shoulder and not outside the shoulder. I think that's a really important thing. So I had to, I took off the sleeves and I brought them a little bit in, and I still feel that they could go a little bit more, something like this. Something to remember in the future. So I'm going to change and to show you the inside of the sleeve. One more time to show you the bottom part before I take it off. There is elastic, lingerie elastic, zigzag here on the inside, as you do with a normal underwear. And of course I have the closure here between my legs. So it's not very tight, it's really nice. That's why I said that with a soft fabric I could easily shorten this a little bit. But actually it's nice, I can raise my hands and I don't feel like restricted in it. I think it's really, really, really nice. The fit is nice also because is that the seam here is really shaped, so that's nice. Okay, I'm going to change and show you the inside of the sleeve. So for the sleeve, and this is something that I never did before. It was completely new to me. So for the sleeve to fill in that all these gathers, as you can see here, there is a lot of gathering going on. Just going to pull the sleeve out. Here you can see the elastic, which is just stretched and stitched on between those marks, and this is how the sleeve head is looking on the inside. Let's see. As you can see here, there is a lot going on. I use the same jersey that I use for the bodysuit itself, and actually it's a really cool construction. They use, you have a strip of fabric, and they used also in the instructions the same fabric that you use for the garment. You have a strip of fabric which is about, I think, how big is this? It's 12 centimeters, so it will be finished with 5 centimeters. A strip of the a jersey and one strip of tulle. And the thing is that this tulle is very scratchy, or at least, you know, when I have it in my hand, it's just soft and nice. Well, nice, it's soft. But I noticed that when I tried on my bodysuit with that ruffle on the inside to see how it was very scratchy. All these little things here, it was unbearable. So I had to find a solution, and my solution, of course, was to bind with some. This is really a piece of bias binding that I stitched onto the garment. I did stitch it with a sewing machine, I think, and then just wrap it over the seam allowance and with some hand stitching all over the whole length. And now I have this. This is really it's very cute actually. So here I have one layer, well, double of tulle, and a double a jersey piece, and everything is getting gathered very tightly actually, and then put on the armhole here between the notches that are on the pattern, and then just stitched. Very easy. And also here you can see the elastic. That, well, you cannot see the elastic, which is zigzagged, and that actually I did on the front. It's actually 1:1 ratio, and only on the back at the bum I did stretch the elastic a little bit to give a little bit of cupping. And here you can see my not so nicely stitched hook and eye. This one, it has, you know, they are from an old bra, so they are not very nice, but they are working, and you know, it's nice to have those repurposed. And here I have the really huge collar, as you can see, with that construction that they have, which brings the two seam allowances on the shoulder seams. So it's making nice that on the back is completely clean. So this was the bodysuit. I think it's a really good one, and of course, because the pattern, or at least in the magazine, there are a few combinations. You get also the possibility to use a straight sleeve on the bodystocking, and of course all the other combinations, and I think this will look also nice maybe with a v-neck, or you know, any other kind of modification. The most important part is that length to be correctly, that is not uncomfortable when you are raising your hands and stuff like that. So this was the bodysuit. Now to go on with the other top, which you see in the pictures here, is this one. I went really crazy with the colors, I know, on these ones. This one is made in a really soft French terry. You can see the loops here. It's very soft actually. It's really nice. It was actually, because I made this before the patterns came online, I was not sure how it was supposed to fit here in the front. The picture in the magazine itself is really difficult to see actually, because they used a red, where was it? As you can see here, it's actually impossible to see that there is something going on here. First, when I saw this, I was thinking that it's just a plain v-neck shirt, but actually, where is it? Is this one here, where you have this upper body pieces that are getting a little bit gathered under the bust, and then you have the lower piece, just a slim sleeve and a basic back. But here in the magazine you cannot see any of these details. You can see them on their website. And here are the pieces. And again, the fit is based actually on the bodystocking, because it's pretty much the same pattern, only this piece is getting added on. This one you are actually you take it off from the bodystocking pattern, and there are here two notches for where this gathers from the upper part will come. I must say, and you will see it in my pictures, that my bust is filling in those gathers a little bit too much, or a little bit too much. The gathers in my top, you see it here in the picture, they are getting a little bit lost. So for the next one, because I will make more of this, I'm going to keep this pattern because it fits really nice actually. I'm just going to make a slit here, or where is it? I'm going to make a slit here, and I'm going to open it up a little bit, and it will give me a little bit more fabric here that I can gather, and to get those gathers also, you know, to have that effect also under my bust. And of course by opening here I do get just a little bit more coverage here also, because of course I'll get a little bit more fabric for the bust. Again, as you can see in the pictures, this one is using a plain sleeve that can be easily combined with the body stocking also. And of course on this one I could easily add that crazy sleeve with all the gathers and the shoulder pad. I can add it on this one too. So this one was really easy. I mean, this one was done in no time. And of course I used also a fabric that is making completely impossible to see something, but let's see, I do have the gathers here where you can see it on the inside. You can see a little bit of my gathering stitches also. But as you can see, there are not so there are not a lot of gathers, so this will be a change that I will make for the next one. But yeah, it's a very happy little shirt. Now to go on with the linen pants, and I had them here, and you are going to see pictures here, but I wanted to show you something on the waistband. That's why I don't have them on. So the linen, this linen is a linen viscose from Minerva. It's one of their exclusive prints. I cannot remember when I made last a pair of pants. Definitely a pair of pants with a proper waistband and zipper fly and stuff like that. I cannot really remember. So deciding on the size on this one, this time I went with the hip size, just because I know that sometimes the patterns are running big, and I was thinking I did make and I'm showing here down because I have I have the toile here. So I measured a little bit the pattern, and I decided that I have enough waist width with the size 38, and that is what is fitting my hips. But definitely according to the size chart is a good few centimeters, I think 5 centimeters smaller on the waist than my actual waist. But I went with the hips, otherwise my hips would have been really too big. So I made the test garment, and I must say that the fit was pretty okay, only I really needed some more length on the back crotch, or you know, when you get your pants between your stuff in the back. So I really needed some extra length, and you'll see in my pictures that I'm not 100% happy with my change. I think I need just a centimeter extra, and for the next one I'm definitely going to add that. So here you have my piece. This is my back piece, and I'm going to put a tutorial from Designer Stitch where you can see the same operation here. So to add a little bit more length here, you can see here in the back, I just made perpendicular line to the grain line. Here to the side, stopped and at the stitching line, and make like a hinge. And I added here, I think 2.5 centimeters. And I was thinking, well, that's probably not enough. So on the when I cut it on the on the fabric, I added here 1 centimeter extra. And I think for the next one I'm just going to add maybe 2 centimeters and bring this out and then back onto the leg. I really need that extra centimeter. So this was actually the only change that I made really to the pattern, you know, to really affect the pattern. Later, when I had the pants on for a first try, I realized, and it's something that I do always, actually, also with dresses, also with this dress from Knipmode. I always need to make the side seam a little bit less rounded, so a little bit more straighter here, and that's something that I did later after the first fit of the pants. For the rest, there are no changes. Something to be aware is that the width of the leg is pretty big. I think this is around 64 centimeters, and the one which they have in the magazine with that pleat in the front. Well, I was almost sure that it was more than a meter, but actually it's 84 centimeters width, hem width on the other on the variation that they have for this pattern. I'm just going to follow the pages, page 58. So on that one, it's a really very wide leg. So I suppose if you were to make that one, so this one here, I think it should be really a very soft fabric. They used here denim, and although it's looking quite okay here in the picture, I wonder how it's looking when you are walking with 84 centimeters width pants, and also in denim. I think can be a little bit overwhelming. So on mine, I have 64, and of course I measured, and of course it's a pretty easy measurement to make. If you put your you take your measuring tape, and you have here, like, let's see, 64, well, and you put it against your leg, and you think, well, this is okay. So in a linen viscose like this, it's a pretty soft and drapey fabric, and I was thinking, well, that's going to be okay. So it was really, I really like the width of the leg. You can see it in the pictures here. I used for the pictures some heels, and also with some comfy sneakers, and I think the last one is the one that I'm going to use the most for these pants. The pattern has some patch pockets front and back, and to be honest, I'm not a really big fan of patch pockets, you know, in general, not. And so anyway, not in the front. I didn't put them in the back. Let's see, page 53. I did put the pockets in the back because in the back you need to have pockets in the back, otherwise, you know, it's just very simple. And well, they have it also in the front. It's really hard to see here. There are these ones here, you cannot see exactly how they are looking, but in the back I did use them, and I used the pockets that they have in the pattern. You can see them here. This is the pocket here, very nice. I skipped the pockets from the front, you know. I was not sure if I should add back pockets or not, and at the moment I decided that I want to have some a little bit angular pockets, you know, stitched from the inside, or top stitched, and you have only one layer to add like a slash pocket or something like that. But then it was actually, I had it all completely, and I was thinking I'm not going to unpick serger thread and stuff like that. I was not in the mood. There are you can see here, there are darts in the back, as you can see here, 2 darts. There are no darts. The front is really oh, I'm going to take this tape away. The front is very nice and clean. There is nothing there. That's why I also did not add the pockets, because I knew that I'm not going to use them, but I didn't want, so I didn't want to I don't know, to disturb the front here. I did make some belt loops, and I can show you also from the inside. You know, I changed my thread in my serger to black. I'm not sure why, because later when I was serging this, I was thinking, why do I have black thread in my serger? Because my pants are actually white on the inside, and now I have all this black, well, you know, it's nothing to do. What I want to talk a little bit about is the, well, I do have a bunch of threads here that needs to go away. I want to talk a little bit about the waistband. The waistband on the pattern is actually a rectangular piece of fabric. It's a straight waistband, and from my experience, but you know, from what I've seen online on different courses and stuff like that, I know that if the pants are coming all the way up to the waist, a straight waistband is really not a problem, just because there is not so much, most of the time, not so much shaping. You know, if it's exactly at the natural waist, so it's just a piece of a rectangle of fabric. Well, if it's lower than the high waist, of course it's nice to have a contour waistband that is going a little bit around your body to follow a little bit the curves. But I really like a contour waistband even if my garment is all the way up to the waist. So you can see here that the waist is a little bit rounded if you watch a little bit up here, and also on the front. So, and in the pictures you see that it's very nice, it's closing very nicely against the body. And how to do that is actually really easy. I am going to try to make a short video very soon to show you that, but I saved this. So you start actually with just a straight piece of fabric, and I cut this on the cross grain, so as you normally cut on the fold, let's say. I interface it, and so just interface the piece of the fabric. And the next step is, and I'm going, look at this, how curved is this? I hope you can see it. I'm going to put it against the paper so you can see it even. Look how curved this is. This started as the straight piece of fabric, or as the paper was. But actually what you do after you interface this, you put it on your ironing table, and then you stretch, not the fold, because the fold is of course the one that needs to be a little bit smaller than the bottom part, which is getting attached to the pants, but you stretch and you go with your hot iron with steam, well, depending on the fabric you're using. You stretch and you give a lot of steam, and then only on the lower part here, so on the raw edges, not on the fold, and you'll see that it's just getting shaped. And this is how I think it's really amazing how a straight piece of fabric, which is, and this linen stretch, it has completely no stretch in it. Linen stretch, linen viscose has completely no stretch in it, but look how rounded it is. And you know, if you think, well, how do I know where I need to make it rounder and stuff like that? Well, to be honest, the best is to start with a longer piece of fabric that you need. So if your pattern is saying where your waistband needs to be 80 centimeters, just make it a meter, and then stretch all that and shape, try to shape all that piece of fabric. You just need to go every few centimeters every time with your iron, iron warm with steam, and then you'll see that at the end you have a big piece of fabric which is getting a little bit shaped. And then from this piece of fabric I just fold it in two, and I use that middle of the fabric on my pants and just cut the ends. That's why I have here these two pieces, as you can see. But it doesn't have to be like, you know, like a rounded piece, but in the end you get a piece which is something like this, a little bit more shaped. And you see that it's a very easy actually waistband to make, which comes very nicely against the body. I'm going to try to make a short tutorial very soon. I don't think I have that one here on the channel. I've seen this method used by Kenneth Dicking in one of his, I think it was the Genius class on Craftsy, and I've seen it also in one of the drafting classes from, oh, I forgot her name. She's really good, and she has a lot of drafting classes on Craftsy. I'm not coming on the name now, but there she's using a piece of fabric cut on the bias, and also interfaced and then stretched until it's not stretching anymore. But this one you can totally do it on cross grain, and even you think, well, my fabric is not stretching, if you are going to give it a lot of steam and warmth, you will see that these raw edges are going to something like this, and you'll see that this will start to ripple a little bit, maybe the fold. But if you continue to give steam and warmth, you will see how nicely it's going to shape, and it's going to work really nice. So these were my 3 garments from the latest Knipmode magazine. I am working at the moment on the cardigan from Solverit, the Jessie cardigan I think is called. They just released a lining for it, and I think it's going to be really nice. This one is made in a boiled wool, so that's going to be my next video here on the channel. I hope you got some great tips for sewing today in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you next time here on the channel. Bye everyone!